Parallax, a quick skirmish game of battle strategy and fun. With only a few hours left to go on this Kickstarter, it can use your help to achieve its goal. They are just about the fun. I want to go behind the scenes and talk to Adam, the mastermind behind the game. I want to know who he is, his inspirations, and get a little insight of the mind's gear that gave birth to this game. Hey guys, welcome to another video, and we're going to talk to Adam about Parallax, so you get to know a little more about the person behind the project itself. So Adam,
yes,
tell us a little about yourself, personally.
All I've been doing is designing this game, so I don't know what I like to do anymore.
That's what everyone says, but what do you like to do in your spare time?
I have an amazing wife and 5-year-old son who
Nice.
I spend time with when I'm not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So when the game isn't priority, which is taking a little bit more priority than it should have been sometimes,
Yeah.
then my wife and family are my number one goal.
Gotcha. So what got you started into creating Parallax?
So Parallax was originally designed in 1994 as a card game.
Okay.
It was designed with a buddy of mine, Dan Weber, who you may remember from Malifaux.
Yes.
And we went through all the stages to make a card game.
Yeah.
And then through one thing or another, it never got made, sadly. But the dream never died. So the dream was to create a game. And then through the years, things went back and forth and things changed. And it morphed from a card game to a miniatures game.
Okay, that's interesting. From a card game to a miniatures game, I mean, was the mechanics almost like the same, or is it totally just story-wise?
There's a lot of similar mechanics to it.
Mm-hmm.
The spells have become skills.
Okay.
So some spells stayed as spells.
Right.
Some skills became different. Things changed in a lot of other ways. The characters changed quite a bit. But yeah, it morphed. And in fact, it's funny because two of the original races were... the name of the original game was Tir Kayad.
Yeah, okay.
So I took two of the original...
That I remember because you sent me the original
Did I? Okay.
rules. Yeah. I'm like, I couldn't pronounce it.
Tir Kayad.
Yeah.
But yeah. So couldn't keep any of that stuff in it, really. But the Tir are now the humans,
Okay.
and the Kayads are now the dogs. So I was able to at least keep part of that dream alive, even in this version,
Gotcha.
by playing with the names a little bit. So
That's pretty cool.
that's how we got started. So, tastes change.
Yeah.
So my taste went from Magic the Gathering
Right.
slowly to Warhammer,
Okay.
fantasy, not Age of Sigmar. It slowly moved.
Boy, it wasn't even out then.
No, but slowly moved and became fantasy with lizard men and ogres and everything.
Nice.
And so when it came, but the dream of this game never died.
Mm-hmm.
So as my taste changed, so did my design style.
Right.
And as Dan got into Malifaux, I started working on this.
Gotcha. So this started around, you also run an event called SoCal SmackDown originally.
Originally ran a convention, local convention called SoCal SmackDown.
Yeah, and then we changed it to Ogre.
Ogre.
Yeah, and but yeah, that was, I think, the first time I heard something about this.
Probably.
When I first met you, that back in SoCal SmackDown, I think.
Yeah, for about the last 5-6 years, I've been concentrating pretty heavily on it. And then what I found was rules were great, or starting to get great, but without miniatures, at least my own miniatures, nobody cared. Because everybody can have a design set, but until you put miniatures with it, it's one of those, whatever.
You gotta make it unique and stuff like that, which it is kind of unique in the ways that it's a lot of monster-based factions. I mean, you got the elephant guys, you got the cat guys, you got the minotaur guys, you got the wolf guys. The wolves are cool.
Thank you.
Right, and then of course you got the human factions. But in this game, it seems a lot of the stuff is really based on the monster aspect of it.
One of the differences for this game compared to a lot of the other games is a lot of other games there are monsters living in human worlds.
Right.
In this game, it's not. It's a monster world, and the humans are living in their world.
Gotcha.
So there is a lot of larger scale because that's the scale it should be because that's their world.
Right.
And the humans are basically the oddball out.
Right.
So when you look at the humans, like the one designed by the Barbarian, it's 35 millimeter. So it is a little bit bigger than the normal 28, but not that much bigger. But then you put in the elephants. But an elephant a human next to an elephant is going to be quite a lot bit bigger.
Well, yeah, it's an elephant.
Sorry?
It's an elephant, yeah.
It's an elephant, or it's a bull.
Right.
I mean, you're not really doing that in real life. And then if you look at with the history and the fluff of the game, the actual tiers, which are the magic version of the humans are actually even a little bit smaller. So they're typically your 28 millimeter scale.
Gotcha.
So we're actually even going a little bit smaller with those guys to more of a typical scale.
Gotcha. And so everything currently is in beta, the rules anyways.
Correct.
As of filming, we just played the game. I like it. It's fun.
Thank you.
I like the whole mechanic about exhaustion and stuff. That's the unique thing about it. Now, did this stuff come to you right away, or was it years of development?
Development. Nothing. I mean, if we looked at the first version of the game, which is still somewhere on my computer,
right,
and then we look at this one, I mean, it's morphed so different. And there's been so many people working on it. They come in, they work, and then they drop out because it's a long process. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, people come in and they're awesome and they give ideas, and they drop out. And so I look at their ideas and then I morph them again into what fits better for the rules. So it's been continually on. Like one of my original guys, Chris Abrade, and I, who started working on it, he had the idea for exhaustion, but only with spellcasting.
Oh, okay.
And you took damage when you overwent because nobody wants somebody to use too many spells.
Right.
Or shoot too many times.
Right.
Because ranged combat and spells ruin a game.
Right.
But then we were able to morph that into the exhaustion system it is today.
Nice.
We talked earlier about shooting into close combat, which we never tried today during the demo game.
Oh, okay. Really?
We never did that. Oh. But that came, we had a different idea of randomizing it out, and then somebody named Corey Briggs said, well, why don't you try this instead? And it worked a lot better. So community involvement has definitely moved the game forward.
It influenced the game.
Yeah, and made it what it is now, and it's made it so much better than me sitting in my living room going, ooh, that would be cool.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely a work in progress. It's kept on going. And I'm really happy with where we are now.
Nice. Now, right now, the Kickstarter's on. Now, we're trying to figure out, like, what happens if you don't fund it? What happens if you do fund it? Let's just go with the good news. All right? It funds. What's next?
Well, we already have a forum live, so we're doing the beta testing on there. So people who have backed the project can already go into the beta, and we're going to start, the moment it ends, basically, we'll start putting beta rules up for people.
Gotcha.
They can start testing, start creating, start working on it. The goal is to end beta middle of December.
Okay.
From that, we'll start laying out the book, and people will get it with models and everything in June, July.
July. Okay. And is there going to be more factions, more models in the faction that you're going to release? Like, for example, the wolves.
We already have another human in the work.
Yeah.
The goal is, if we overfund, is to create more models. All the money that we get from the game is basically going back into the game.
Gotcha.
So it's not like I'm taking it out and taking my wife on a trip to Hawaii, although she would like that.
Of course.
We're taking the money and putting it back into the game. So the goal is eventually to have 50, 60 models.
Okay.
Right now, that's not realistic.
Overall or per faction?
Overall.
Overall, okay.
I mean, the goal is we've got a lot of personality characters, which are pre-generated characters.
Right.
And I'd love to have a model for each of them. Or the customization for people to make their own models out of the pieces that we have.
Gotcha. Why a skirmish game? Why not a more epic game like 40K where you're using tons of models?
It's just not my personal style.
Okay, so you like more...
I like the this game is different in a lot of ways, and the niche I wanted to fill for me was I was a playtester for a lot of other games, and the one thing that always irked me is I have to play games the way they want me to play them. I can't play a game the way I want to play it because they've already done it.
Yeah.
So like, I never wanted that. So when I was looking at it and watching movies and doing stuff, I'm like, what can I take and what can I do to make the game something that my friends and I would want to play?
Right.
And I wanted a something that I could build my own character.
Yeah.
But not only that, and this is something I don't think we've really touched on, is this is really part 1 of 3.
Part 1 of 3. Okay, explain.
So this is the skirmish game. There's also an RPG game.
Okay.
And then more of a large-scale game.
Okay, gotcha.
So the characters that you have in this, or the RPG, or even the large-scale game, can move between different games.
That's cool.
So your RPG character can be one of your skirmish characters.
So you could be RPGing and then you're leveled up and you're like, I want to try it on the field. And
you can take that in your Warband, which is basically your adventuring party, and move it into this game.
Nice.
Or you can take this guy and move it into your RPG game.
Okay.
And make it a character in that one. Or let's say you have a large-scale game like a Warhammer game, more fantasy than 40K. Right. But like that, this guy's going to become your general.
Gotcha.
To your other characters.
Okay, well, can you create a character in the RPG and then decide to take those stats and play with him on the board? Exact stats, or are there going to be different...
There'll be slight changes that you're going to have to morph a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, for example, nobody cares about language skills
Right.
in a skirmish game.
Unless you write that into the game.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, and we tried that at the beginning. It didn't work very well.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody cares whether or not you can jump over a lake in
Right.
this, unless it takes away from your EP.
Right.
But when you've got a limited number of skills that you can take in a game, you're not doing a character sheet. You're really playing a fast skirmish game.
True. Okay.
So yeah, the characters can move from spot to spot, which is one of the unique factors of this game.
Nice. So let's talk about the campaign aspects of the game.
So the campaign aspect of the game is basically you've got a warband. And it's a warband, as long as you're not taking personalities, which are pre-gen, and you've made your own characters, they can continue to grow.
Nice.
So every time you win a game with your contract cards, it'll give you a number of skill points that you can assign to your warband. Those get assigned out to characters, and then you can either buy new skills, start to increase attributes, make your skills that you already have better. So there's a number of things that you can do. And then if you want to break them up later, you've got your character, you take it to another warband.
Yeah.
So you're not stuck in any one spot.
Yeah, that's really cool. So it's very open, the game, because you got the ways to mix them all up and play it as a campaign or play it as a quick skirmish beatdown and stuff like that. So as it expands, especially like you're saying, there's a larger verse scale of the game. Is it basically going to be the same miniature scale as well, or
everything other than the large scale game?
Okay.
The large scale game would go more of a traditional model size for the units and troops, and your larger scale size for your commanders.
Gotcha. All right.
That way they're easy to see on the board, they're easy to use.
So you are going to scale it down a bit then.
Yeah, those would be your more typical 28 millimeter models.
Nice. So I also heard a board game is in the plans?
That would be part 4.
Part 4?
That would be part 4 that you could... That one would almost be separate. It would be in this world with the setting, but you would be harder to take your characters from the board game and out.
Right.
So you could put your characters into the board game, but you couldn't take your board game characters out into the rest.
Right.
So it'd be a one-way port.
Gotcha. But most likely it'd probably run as it's on its own. It's a board game.
It's a board game. So yeah, but for people who are fans and who are already playing this game, it's a really easy way to do it, and you can use your miniatures in it.
Right. Nice. All right, so why should people back you in this project?
The only reasons that I can think of is, one, it's a good game. So if you're looking for a good, different game, it's a great way to do it. The models are superb, so if you like modeling and you like miniatures, I mean, they are great miniatures. And the other reason is because I'm an independent. That I'm not a big company using Kickstarter to continually fund my product. Right. I'm using it to get myself off the ground so that I can build a game. And this is my dream, and I want it to happen.
All right, so that's it again. We're with Adam, and we're talking about Parallax, the Kickstarter project. Now, how are they going to find it? What else do they need to know about it? Anything?
You can find it on. You can always go to parallaxminiatures.com, which is the website. Parallax is on the Kickstarter, and you'll find it as Parallax Miniatures on Facebook. Yeah,
we're still working on beta rules and stuff, and you're more than welcome to come and talk into the beta forums, right?
Right. Yeah. There's the forums right now. Yeah, and you're more than welcome to go in there and state your opinions, ask questions. There's a whole Kickstarter section in there where you can ask whatever questions you want to.
Yeah.
And we're pretty good about getting back to you within a couple hours usually.
Yeah. Well, there you guys have it. Adam from Parallax, thank you for coming.
Thank you, man.
Hopefully you guys will check out the Kickstarter and kick in, because it's a really fun game. Just had experience with it. Love the models. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.